We're reading the Tomer Devorah and we're on the third attribute. He removes iniquity. This is a great attribute, for Hashem's forgiveness is not granted by means of any intermediary. He himself forgives the sin. As it is written, forgiveness is with you. What does this forgiveness entail? Hashem cleanses the sinner from his sin. As it is written, Hashem shall wash the filth of the daughters of Zion, and I shall sprinkle on you pure waters. This is the attribute of He removes iniquity. Hashem sends cleansing waters to go and wash away the sin. Man must do exactly the same. He should not say, why should I fix that what is somebody else's fault or damage? Do not say that, for when a person sins, Hashem himself, not through an intermediary, fixes his crookedness and washes the filth of his sin. With this in mind, a person should be ashamed to sin again, since the king himself washes the filth from his soiled remnant. A definition of the attribute. When a person suffers damage, whose results still continue to disturb him, it would be fair for the offender who caused the damage to repair it for himself. However, the offender is not always able to do so. Then the victim is forced to repair the damage himself. Sometimes an offender negligently and shamefully damages an outstanding and pious person, knowing that the victim will repair the damage himself, even though it is beneath his dignity to do so. If the injured party then shows his moral fiber and repairs the damage with his own hands, not through any intermediary, he rises to a high moral level. He awakens Hashem's attribute of mercy, expressed by He removes iniquity, bringing that element of compassion into the world. Here is a practical example. The pages of a calendar turned joyous events across the world were held in halls of all sizes. Yet when the time came for the Jacobi family to once more host the family Simcha, they again chose to host it in the yard of their building. Mr. Jacobi told Mr. Simchon that this time he intended to do things right. He would keep the loudspeaker at a decent volume, and he would clean up after himself. He hoped that he would not cause any inconvenience to his neighbors. Hopes and intentions are one thing, but reality is often sometimes something else. This time, the event was bigger than the last. Mr. Jacobi tried to control the mess by leaving out some of the colored napkins and lessening the noise by lowering the volume of the loudspeakers. But the extra guests he invited more than made up for it with their own noise and mess. The excitement of his lively children and their lively families added joy to the festivities, but not quite so much joy to the neighbors who were trying to fall asleep. Over the course of setting up and dragging benches back and forth, the fence around Mr. Shimchon's private parking spot was bent out of shape. A week later, when the fence was still not repaired, Mr. Shimchon started thinking less favorable thoughts about Mr. Jacobi. You made a mess once. I cleaned up for you. Now you damage my property and just leave it like that? What kind of business is this? He thought to himself. Each time he got in or out of his car, he stared at the fence, bent out of shape. He replied in his mind the conversation he should have with Mr. Jacobi. Maybe I should offer him some of my tools to fix it himself, he thought. But then again, Mr. Jacobi is great at setting up tables and benches, but has two left hands when it comes to repairs. So who is going to fix this fence? He asked himself. I guess I will, he answered. Me? His inner voice responded. Well, who else? Who else is going to repair the broken fence if not for me? It is not such a hard job after all. Mr. Shimchon had a gifted hands. In an hour and a half, he could straighten out the fence as good as new. But what about fairness? What about justice? Why should I have to keep fixing the damage caused by others? Was it right to treat a man his age that way? Later, he sat with his family at the dinner table. His daughter Michal told him that her class had started learning Tomer Devorah as a merit for the sick brother of a classmate. Tomer Devorah is known as a segula for recovery. Mr. Shimchon raised an eyebrow in surprise. He expected his daughter to be learning things more down to earth, such as the laws of Shabbos, Sneas, or Shmiras Halashon. However, he made no comment on the matter, but instead asked his daughter what she thought about his story with the broken fence. Tati, if you fix the fence yourself, then according to Tomer Devorah, you will awaken the attribute of He removes iniquity. Yes, He removes iniquity. I hope you don't mind my skepticism. I want to see this for myself. Show me the Sefer, Michali. After a quick glance through the Sefer, Mr. Shimchon saw that his daughter was right. He brought out his tools and set to work fixing the fence. He thus overcame his natural inclination and elevated his spirit to emulate Hashem. Thank you.